Hello and welcome to Paxton Road TV. This is the Paxton Road TV reaction show for the game Spurs versus Arsenal. The score: Spurs 1, Arsenal 0 in the North London derby, final pre-season friendly before the season starts. And Spurs looked all right. They look good today. So I'm going to welcome my guests in the house, the regulars. We have Mike Hotspur Hustler, we have Spursy 141, aka Jody, and we have Stuart Gallop. Welcome, guys and girls. As you can see, it's always a happy day when you beat them lot, and you beat them lot quite comfortably as well. Let's get into things. Going to come around to each of you, get your thoughts on the game. Yeah, but as I said, I'll just a quick one on it myself. I thought it was apart from a 20-minute spell, I think in that first half, Arsenal put a lot of pressure on us, and I think their formation kind of, they had a bit of a 4-4-1-1 going on, and they brought all their wide players in, and they kind of pressed quite hard, quite aggressively, but they didn't look overly threatening. I think there was that opportunity from Lacazette that's kind of like off the volley, and then there was one that kind of skimmed the top of the crossbar. But apart from that, I don't think either our keepers had to do a lot in the game today, which was good. And our defence, which consisted of Sanchez and Dyer. I'm going to look in the camera. Sanchez and Dyer didn't make any mistakes. Wow. So, Mike, I'm going to come to you first. What was your thoughts on the game? How did you think the performance went?
Apart from like you've just mentioned, that 20 minutes where Arsenal, they seem to play quite narrow, and in that 20 minutes they seem to be playing quite narrow, and they were pressing us, and they seem to having quite a bit of joy. But out of that 20 minutes, I still think we look relatively comfortable, especially, which is something to say when you've got Dyer and Sanchez at the heart of your defence. But I thought they played. Saying that, I do think they played quite well. The centre backs today. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with the performance as a whole. I'm the more I see Skip, as I said offline, the more I see Skip, the more I'm liking him and Højbjerg in the sort of, I'll say the heart of midfield, but in that, if they're playing in the free, those two seem to be linking up, and it's almost like they're getting they've got a quick understanding of each other's games, and they complement each other on the pitch, which, if you go back to last season, I don't think we probably had that with Højbjerg and Ndombele. Or they certainly didn't get to grips with each other's games as quickly as these two have. And as I say, the more I see Skip, the more I'm liking him. I think he's going to be a tremendous talent for Spurs. I think he's going to be a big player for us now and in the future. Yeah, as I say, I'm just going to keep it quite short and simple. I think we played well. I think we surprisingly defended well, given the back line and stuff. Yeah, no complaints at all. And I think Nuno's got us working as a unit, which probably we weren't quite all on the same wavelengths as a team back in the Mourinho day. But I think Nuno seems to have sorted that out quite quickly. And I think everyone's firing on the same cylinder and singing on the same hymn sheet. And you can see that just by the fact that we're not conceding silly goals. And like, I don't think we've conceded a goal in the last 10 minutes of a game, have we? Or, not that I can remember anyway. If we have, then
not so well, no.
So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with what I'm seeing. Things are changing, which is only a good thing for Spurs.
Things have definitely changed, and what I did see today that was very good was they did play a 4-3-3. I thought it was going to be more of a 4-2-3-1, but it had a flexibility, because sometimes you would see Højbjerg and Skip alongside each other. Sometimes you would see one of them. Dele Alli did play off that left-hand side, but what I did notice is there was a point in the second half where Højbjerg dropped into almost like the centre-back position. They made a back three, as I've mentioned before, and both the fullbacks were quite high. Tanganga was really high at one point, and so was Regon, and they both was in attacking positions. Obviously, Tanganga getting the assist for the goal was in a very high position, well into the box, very aggressive. So that shows me that they're obviously doing something within training to suggest, right, the fullbacks are now going to be part of the system, but not necessarily having to do it from a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, which I really like. So the flexibility within that area of the pitch, and both the fullbacks being able to do that, I thought was very impressive. Jody, welcome back. I haven't seen you for a little while, but We know you're going to be here as part of the season as it progresses. What was your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of you. I think defensively we weren't terrible today, so that's a massive bonus for me. I think for a preseason game with a new manager and a squad going through a rebuild, I think we played pretty damn well. So I think most of the effort in the first half was coming from Mora. I think we looked a lot more comfortable in the second half, and I think maybe that was down to Nuno's little training session that he was doing at half time. That was quite cute to see. I think Tanganga and Skip both had an awesome game as well, like you said, and Son's set pieces were absolutely ridiculous today. Looks like he's definitely been training. So
about his corners were fantastic.
Amazing. But yeah, I think it was a really good game. I didn't expect too much more with the position we're in at the moment. Really happy with the result. So
yeah, really good. Like I said, some really good performances. I think the two standout performances for me were Skip and Tanganga. I really thought they played really well. But generally, as I said, got to give credit to that defense as well. I'm always very quick to criticize Sanchez and Dyer, both of them. But today, I have to say they looked solid, and that's all I want to see from them. You don't have to do too much. You don't have to be overly aggressive. I don't want to have to see him stepping into midfield. I don't want to see him come out too wide to cover the fullbacks. But just do your job in that centre of the pitch where they're trying to throw crosses in. Get your head on it. Get the ball away, and they did that time and time again. Stuart, what's your thoughts on the game?
Well, I remember when we sat down for the first pre-season game against Leyton Orient, and I remember one of the things I said was I just want to see progression going into the season, And today this was that sort of the culmination of that, where we've improved every single game. There's more minutes. There's a real stability to that starting 11. It looks like now I'm barring maybe a couple of changes. I think that's going to be the 11 that starts against Man City, just because of who's not available, who's sort of come back a bit later than everyone else, who maybe has got a little injury. But that today was the sort of more complete performance, where the defensive side of our game and the attacking side of our game were both really, really solid. I think against Chelsea, I just think we weren't prepared for how intense they were. And I think that's something that I think Nuno was onto them straight away, because we went for them straight away. Like, they lost possession within about 30 seconds, if not less, than off their kickoff. So that was like a totally different intention from the start. Defensively, like you guys have said, the thing I've noticed with Nuno, under Mourinho, it was like we were either defending for our lives and constantly being put under pressure, or we were just basically trying to do a very quick long ball break. And that was it. There was nothing in between. And right now we have this sort of calmness that we have, like, okay, you've got the ball, and then when we get it back, we'll just build it, and we'll build it in a very systematic, sort of organized way. And that's the thing I love about like the way we're doing things at the moment. And like you said, like having people, the big guys like Son and Mora. Dele had a bit of an off day today. I mean, if that first chance had gone in, I think his confidence would have gone back up. But he lost the ball a couple of times, and he was getting a bit pissed off because you could see him flaying his arms around and
hit a post twice, didn't he?
Yeah. So I think if he got those goals, I think he would have been a bit more happy within his game. But I'm just so excited with every time I see Skip, I get more and more excited about that midfield potential, because to have Højbjerg and Skip there is just amazing. Because that kid, there was a couple of times where he did his job, he intercepted the ball, but then he sort of just lost control of it a bit too quickly. But in terms of him reading the game ahead of what will be a Romero who equally reads the game really well, man, I'm looking forward to seeing what we do. So all in all, a really sort of nice end to our pre-season games, and I can't wait to be there next Sunday. Really looking forward to it. I'm not as terrified as I was about a month ago.
Provided you get some decent stream from the game, we're going to get your reaction after the game.
Hopefully, I'll just pre-record it and pretend it was all right.
To be honest with you, I thought Dele Alli had an okay game. There was one point in the game where I saw what happened to him is he got beaten and his recovery wasn't as strong as I would like it to be. But that's not really his strength in his game. But what I have to say is he popped up in that in the areas to get them shots. Now, he didn't score, yes, I know, but he was popping up in that area late on with those late runs, and that's his game. You know, if he can continue doing that, had he got the goal today, I think he would have probably got a couple of them.
Could have got a hat trick.
But he was in the area. Exactly. The only thing I would say about him is if he is going to play this left side of a midfield three, he's going to have to recover a lot better than what he did today. There was times when the player beat him and he was like, oh God, I've got to get back. And that, when you're under pressure from a team like Man City, who's going to have a lot more possession than what Arsenal did today, it's going to cause us a little bit more problems. But if we can have a solid defense and Romero comes into this defensive lineup, I'm comfortable with our defenders, particularly if Sanchez and Dyer can continue the progression they seem to have made. Before I come to you just about the front three, I just want to have a look at the starting 11. So we had Lloris in goal, we had Tanganga at right back, we had Sanchez and Dyer centre backs, Reguilon left back, Skip and Hojbjerg didn't start in a double pivot, but kind of was very fluid in that midfield three. Dele, as I said, played off that left-hand side. Lucas, I thought, had a relatively quiet game in comparison to the games that he's had recently in the other games, but still very effective in terms of what he was doing. Son, I think, in that false nine kind of position is dangerous. I think he's going to be a really dangerous player in that position. And I don't think a lot of teams are not going to get to grips with him. Bergwijn, again, I think he's running off the ball today was fantastic. He played off that left-hand side. Jody, I'll come to you. Who did you think, apart from obviously the Skip and Tanganga, who else kind of caught your eye in terms of going forward for Spurs today?
I mean, I actually thought, I know Moura's been playing really well all pre-season, but I thought he had a phenomenal first, 20 minutes of the match. I think he dominated quite aggressively there. And, I was very impressed with that. I actually think, I don't know if I should say, I thought Sanchez did quite well today as well.
I know
we've spoken about the defense saying that, they didn't do anything massively terrible, but he had a couple of good little through balls there. I just thought he actually impressed me a little bit more than usual, which was good. I think Son, it's obvious. He was very impressive to me as well. Dele Alli, wasn't as impressed with him, but he did try, and some of those tries that he had, he could have done a bit better, but some of it was not his fault. So Reguilon also played quite well as well. I think
agreed.
I agree with that.
Hojbjerg was a little bit, he's always there, but he was a little bit absent from my mind. I think the ball kept coming up sort of the side a bit more today, and he wasn't in sort of the first half of the game. He was quite absent, I found. But
he played a bit further forward though at times today. As he did for Denmark, he was. Hojbjerg usually is playing on a double pivot and plays quite deep, but I think he's been given a bit more license to play a bit further ahead, which, again...
I think that's what Skip allows them to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've got that confidence that he's sitting there.
Yeah. I think all the team played really well today. There's nobody that I can say that, had a terrible game. So I was very impressed with the whole squad.
No. So. It's like when you look at that front six, that front six players... I think that's pretty much locked in. I'll be very surprised if that changes before Sunday, because why would you change the personnel in there unless they're going to be doing a lot of work in the week that we won't see? I think that's going to be it. It's just sort of who's going to be playing in that back line. It was a bit of a shame to hear that Romero's got a bit of a knock. Hopefully that's something that he can maybe get over this week, or starts off the bench or something like that. But
I doubt we'll see him for the City game, but it would be good to get him definitely with the next couple of weeks. We've got Wolves coming up as well, so it'd be good to get him back. But I don't think he'll be there for the City game, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, but that team, like if you think about like we were saying before about how Arsenal did that press sort of for about a good 20 minutes, we were under quite a bit of pressure. That was probably a bit of a glimpse of what we might experience against Man City, and we seem to handle it relatively well. So I think, as long as we can sort of keep that focus and like I said, calmness next week, I think there's no reason why we can't try and get a result, even if it's a draw. I'd be happy to have Man City that early on. So
100%.
Yeah, Let's see.
Before we move on, before I come back to you, Mike, I just want to give a shout out to those watching. Steve Williams, thank you for watching. Man United Agenda guys, thanks again for watching. Shout out to Cryptic Crimson, Full Ball, Steve Williams, again, thank you for watching. Mr. Silver Fox, I'll be watching your show later on, don't you worry. I'll be coming on there. Barbados MUFC from the Man United Agenda as well. Thanks for watching. Ed Watson, again, Eddie Ryan in the house. Brezzy Gunner Page. It's amazing these Gunners are there coming and getting a view on us. Had they won, there'd be a lot more trolling, but there isn't. Thanks to all you guys for watching. So please smash that like button. Make sure you do. If you're new to the channel, subscribe as well. Mike, what did you think of Son in that false 9 position today? I
thought he played well in that number 9. It's just whether. Well, first of all, the defences and the opposition aren't going to know how to come to grips with him because no one's used to seeing him in that false number 9. Everyone's used to seeing him on the left, aren't they? So for teams to work him out, it's going to take some time, which might be a blessing for us going forward. But if it doesn't work out, with Son in the 9, and if Kane's not around, then me personally, I'd probably put more in that number 9 role, and then put Son back out on the left. But I thought he played well. I just don't know whether he's got the same. His finishing is clinical. That can't be in doubt. But I just don't know about him as a number 9. Maybe I'm comparing against
facing the. He's not used to having his back to goal, is he?
Yeah, he's not, and that's and when you've got the ball playing to your feet and you've got your back to goal, it's when you're not used to that because he's used to it being out on the wing and he's used to constantly facing the opposition. I think that might take him a little while getting used to that, but. He's
good to come into it. It's pretty good, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I think he can. I think he could develop into a number 9. Whether it is his strongest position, I just don't know. I mean, when you compare him, he was up against the 2 Arsenal centre backs. He'll play against better centre backs than those 2 that he came up against today, and that'll be telling us to. I suppose hit the levels that we can get from him. When you and the problem is we're always going to compare him to Kane, and there isn't a better number 9 in the country better than the Kane. So I think it's a little bit unfair for us to compare him to Kane. But I thought he did well. I'm not going to sit here and say he didn't. I do think he played well. I just don't know if it's his. I'd say it's obvious it's not his best position. His best position is out on the left, but. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I thought he did all right.
I'm only had that big grin because I see Brezzy in the comments saying, Sam and Michael, great game, boys. See what happens in the season. Yeah, we will. I'm hoping that you guys can be closer. No, because you won't be closer to us this season. I think that what today's show was, they were both teams were missing players. Obviously, that's obvious to say. Arsenal probably missing more midfield than probably we would. So. If I'm really looking at it, obviously Partey not being in there, but they still had a decent midfield. Xhaka was in that midfield. You know, they've got.
Well, yeah, Partey's been missing from their team most of the time.
Where's he been there? I can't remember when he's been there.
Yeah, let's not go over it. That was a pretty strong Arsenal 11.
Yeah,
it was,
and that's an Arsenal 11 that have been together way longer. Under a consistent coaching than what we've been under. So, you know, I think we handled them pretty well. So they can say what they want, but we come up against.
I mean, that back line for Arsenal is probably going to be their back line going forward. Apart from I can't remember the centre back's name next to White.
Gabriel or Mari?
Mari, wasn't it?
Gabriel will come in for Mari.
Gabriel will come in. So that, I mean, and Leno's going to be there. Zach, when you look at the rest of them, Xhaka, etc.
Lokonga is there, one of their main signings.
He's one of their main signings. Pepe is there. That's pretty much. I think that would be their starting 11 going forward. Maybe apart from 1 or 2, but I mean, for us, I think that's probably. I wouldn't be surprised if that's our starting 11 against City.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see either.
Yeah, and maybe depends on what's happened with Tanganga, whether he's injured or not. But
I see Sanchez and Diaz starting only because Romero is not going to he's not there. But there was obviously I saw Joe, and I was going to come to you, Stuart, on that. What did you think of the substitutes? Because we brought on Galini, we brought on Rodon. He kind of snuck onto the pitch. I didn't really notice him until
I didn't notice him at all.
And then I was like, "Oh, who's that? Oh, it's Rodon." So what did you think of the actual substitutes performance today?
I love Galini. I think Galini's going to be great for us this season. I think at some point he will become number one this season, because I don't think Lloris is going to sign a new contract. And obviously, if he does remain this summer, then I think he'll just see out the contract and he'll do a Vertonghen or whatever at the end of the season. We'll give him a nice send off and then move on. But he just brings, again, it's that word, calmness. He's very controlled when you don't panic, you don't worry when he gets the ball at his feet like we do with bloody Lloris sometimes. You're like, oh, what's Hugo going to do? And then with Rodon, it was only a little sort of cameo, but I like Rodon. I think if he's given the time to develop and learn from the likes of Romero and build a bit of a relationship, then I think he could be a really, really solid centre back. I absolutely papped my pants when Winks came on. I thought, here we go. We're gonna lose it now, because he just doesn't look arsed. He just doesn't look like he wants to engage in the game or anything. So I really hope we can drop him, because I think it'll be different when we've got the full squad back, because he will be further down the rung to come on, and people like Hilbert and Skip, they will play 90 minutes. Like once they're fully here, that'll be it. They'll just be playing 90 minutes all the time. You can see Winks not giving. He doesn't care. You look at that Chelsea game. I can't remember who sort of skipped around him, but he just looked half-hearted, and I was just, what's the point? What's the point in playing pre-season if you're not heart's not in it? He's just trying not to get injured. That's all I see. He's trying not to get injured because he knows he's probably going to go out. Lo Celso looked all right when he came on. He did some really good stuff. And again, I think if there's anyone that's going to probably challenge Dele's position, it's going to probably be Lo Celso, I think, because I think that could work quite well. Højbjerg, Skip and Lo Celso could work really, really well. But that's what we want. We want a squad where people coming on that don't weaken the team. And like we said, we've still got Romero to come in, Brian Hill, Kane, this, the enigma that is bloody Ndombele, which we can sort of chat about at some point. But
we need to probably do a whole show on that one.
That's just getting ridiculous now. I've just seen on Twitter that Nuno was asked about him, and he said he's not injured, he's just not ready to be involved. What does
interesting
that mean?
Comment. That's a very interesting comment.
It's taken 2 years and he's still not fit.
I don't know if it's got to do with all the rumours about, and there's always rumours. Sissoko going, Aurier going, obviously that French contingent potentially, or French-speaking contingent, should I say, possibly leaving. Maybe some of his mates, but then if you're a professional footballer, you know what I mean. You can't handle that. You don't.
Right. It's ridiculous.
Definitely. Jodie, if you was doing your player rating show, how would you rate Stevie B's performance today? What did you think of him?
Oh, Stevie B. I just feel for him, because I thought maybe after that goal last week against Chelsea, it might open up for him. He's needed a goal, I think, to sort of prove himself. And I was hoping that maybe today he would play a little bit better after that. I mean, he didn't play terribly. I thought he played. I'd probably give him a solid 6, I think, today.
Okay, 6 is good. 6 is good.
Yeah, he wasn't terrible. There were some bits there that maybe could have been improved, but I think probably a 6 for Stevie B for me.
Okay, 6 is okay. Welcome, Sussex Hotspur, Sam, Mike, and all the guys. How are you? And I'll have to come back on soon. We want to get you back on soon, most definitely. Let's just have a look at the stats today. I don't think we've looked at the stats. Before I do the stats, let me get this comment off and then do the stats. So here we go. What I like about this, and I think I've seen it for most of the games, possibly not quite the Chelsea game, but our possession stats. We're now seemingly in possession of games more so than not. I think the Chelsea one was close, but it was slightly more to Chelsea. But again, the attempts today, 12 to us, 11 to them. Although that might be slightly misleading because I think it was on different websites. It's slightly different. But again, you know, it's very equal in terms of that sort of thing. But the possession going forward, it looks like we're going to be on the front foot. And what I did see from the team quite well done today was that pressing from the front. You know, even when we were 1-0 up in the old Jose days, it would have been, let's all retreat back to our 18-yard area and defend from there. This was more on the front foot. They were playing off the front foot. Is there anything in the stats there, Stuart, that, you know, you want to bring out, or is there any concern to you? I know it's only a pre-season friendly, but
I think the thing that did just immediately pop into my head is that I don't remember Arsenal having 5 corners. So we must have defended them that well that they just didn't even enter my memory, where they weren't as catastrophic as they generally were last season. So that's a good thing. The attempts, I'd be quite interested to see the attempts on target, because I think that's where the differential will probably be.
Yeah.
And like you said, with our possession, which I think on average last season was about 40% or something less than that. I think we'll start seeing that more dominant. And again, you know, we managed to survive a really sort of intense, sustained period of pressure, and I don't think we really were troubled that much. So it's all good stuff. Everything has progressed the way I was hoping it would after we saw that first pre-season game. So that's exactly what I was hoping for. And we're unbeaten. You know, I think we've conceded 3 goals, 4 goals. I can't remember how many we've conceded. Scored 9. So not bad.
Yeah. The most we've conceded in a game is 2. That was a 2 against, obviously, Chelsea. But we did come back and we made that 2-2. So again, it shows different qualities from the team. You know, the ability to come back. Again, I know that Chelsea made a lot of changes, but still the players' heads didn't completely go and they were able to get back in the game. I thought today we were in control of large parts of this game. We had to be obviously careful of Arsenal's threat, because they do have threats. They obviously Saka coming on in the second half as well. You know, they've always got somebody there. Pepe again. They did do a couple of bits and pieces, but nothing I would say that was like, oh my God. What I will say though is, Mike, and I'll come to you, what would we need to do better or anything different come the City game? Because that's going to be a different challenge completely. Is there anything that you saw today that you think we need to make sure we don't do that against Manchester City?
I think it's obvious, isn't it? Just keep the ball a little bit better. We were a little bit wasteful at times. Like if we haven't got the first ball, go for the second ball. Just a bit quicker. I think things sometimes just need to be a little bit quicker. But saying that, I keep comparing us to the sort of Mourinho days, and I can't really fault us in terms of the way we're playing, because it's so much more positive than when we was playing under Mourinho. I mean, you could just see by the stats, the possession stats. I mean, under Mourinho, we would never have got 50-odd% possession. It would have been 20 or 30%. The goals that, I mean, the shots on target, shots on target, the shots on goal, 12, I think. Was it 12 I just saw there? 12 shots on goal. I mean, again, we would have had probably half of that, and we probably have only had maybe 1 or 2 on target. So from what Nuno's and the way we've sort of progressed under Nuno, I can't really fault us too much, because there's more positives than there is negatives. The only thing I would say that I was a little bit sort of like, oh, come on. I just wanted to see that back line push forward a little bit more, because if you push the back line forward a bit more, it helps Tottenham, like the forward players, press, and it helps that pressing game much more. But I get the way Arsenal played in that 20-30 minute spell. They had us under the cosh quite a bit. So I do get that. But I think that's the only tendency that Tottenham seem to have sometimes, is they're quite happy to play a little bit deep, and I don't know if it's just force of habit, where they're used to sort of almost playing off on that 18-yard box. We don't need to be doing that. I like to see that back line. We're quick enough. You've got Reguilon, you've got Serge, you've got if it's Sanchez playing, Romero when he comes in, that back line is more than quick enough to play a high line. And if the ball does get clipped over, we shouldn't really be getting beat for pace. So
I think the danger with that today, and I only think today is that Arsenal did have pace. If you think about it, Pepe on that right side, Aubameyang on the left, and Lacazette through the middle. If you do play the highlight and you get caught, because they were playing quite long at times, and I think recognizing that maybe might have been a bit of a tactical thing to play a little bit deeper, but then to try and, because we did control that midfield in the second half. The first that 20 minutes we didn't, but after that we controlled it. So Arsenal, even if they did play long, they weren't really looking to get behind us. I only think that just today, maybe.
Yeah, but if you've got Lacazette 1-on-1 with Lloris, he ain't gonna hit the target. He's not gonna score. We know what's gonna happen. So what's the point? Don't worry about it.
Oh my!
Don't
do that. That's not nice. We can't do that. We can't.
And then Aubameyang didn't even play today.
Yeah, exactly.
Did he play? I don't actually recall him being on the field. Sorry, Arsenal. If anyone here supports Arsenal, correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't remember seeing him on the pitch. I saw Lacazette, but
I think once Romero's there and established in the team, I think we'll probably be more okay with pushing even further forward. And I do generally think it was less of a sort of an intentional retreat. I think it was just something in that spell we just couldn't get hold of the ball enough to then move up. We were just constantly recycling the ball back to them. So we'll see. It's still early days.
I think you're right in that, Stuart, because I think with the as I said, that was my biggest concern today, to see Sanchez and Dyer partnered together. Every time I've seen them partnered together, it's been a bit, oh my God, what could happen? And that maybe that little bit of nervousness made them creep back a little bit more than they should have been. To be more aggressive, you definitely need to push, as you said, Mike, to push them further forward. Go on. So
they look. The team looks fitter. This is, and we don't need to worry about. I just don't feel that sort of nervousness about. You can see, like, second half, I think we finished stronger out of the two sides than Arsenal did, and that's down to the fitness levels that you can see. The Nuno and the staff have concentrated on getting those fitness levels back up to where they should be for a Premier League club. So, and if Tottenham are having to keep chasing balls over the top, as I say, I would have felt comfortable them doing it today, just because I don't think Arsenal just didn't look like scoring. Regardless, I just didn't feel.
Well, let's go into their chat. Let's go into their chat at 7 o'clock and have a bit of a word with them, shall we? Joey, just on this comment here from Henry Sago, I hope I pronounced that right, Henry. Do you think we could potentially go to a back three against City? My thoughts are we won't.
We've not played it once in pre-season.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's too dangerous to start doing something now that we haven't been doing in pre-season. We're not ready for it, and we don't have, our squad is still quite immature in terms of playing together. We're still losing players. I think, I don't think it's too risky to do that against City, for sure.
I'll be stunned if I'll be amazed if we do it, unless it's something that we're doing in training behind closed doors and it's just something that we just haven't put out in the wild yet. But the thing is, if you play the three, then because by the looks of it, from what Nuno's been saying post-match today as well, I don't think Romero is going to be fit by the looks of it, because he's saying that it's not as serious as what he had at the Copa America, but he's not fit, so he needs to sort that out. So if you don't have Romero and you play three, then what if one of those three gets injured? You don't have hardly any options on the bench. So I think you'll stick to the formation that we've seen so far. That would make the most sense to me. But
the only thing I think he might do, I personally wouldn't go 4-3-3 against City. I think it just leaves us too open in the middle there. I personally would like to see 4-2-3-1, because it just condenses and impacts that midfield out a little bit more, which I think if you've got Højbjerg and Skip in front of the back line, that would only benefit us. Just because of City. Although saying that, City, I know they've got a few injuries. Stones, De Bruyne and Foden's out, aren't they? So,
I just think if they do a 4-3-1, there's a couple of things for that. You've got a bit more solidity in front of the defence, which we might need to have against City. But also with the 4-2-3-1, you can press from the front. If Dele Alli's more central, I think he's going to be a bit more effective through his pressing. When he's on that left side, I think he kind of gets into a bit of no man's land. I see him kind of thinking, do I need to go more central, or do I need to stay from the left? And then when he gets beat in that position, he's on that left-hand side. And if Reguilón's not there, then you're open. You're going to be
Yeah.
onto your centre backs. If he's playing in that 10 just behind the front three, then even if he gets beat in that area, we still got Skip and Højbjerg behind him to potentially break things up. It is going to be a tactical game that's going to need to be played, but one which I'm looking forward to seeing, just to see what Nuno can actually do. Because this is now where I'm going to see if we play City the first game of the season, not up to the races, not with all their first 11, and are we going to be more in control of this game than if we were playing them 10, 15 games into the season? Got a few more comments here. Just going to go down. Okay, so Lautaro on his way. I think that might not be quite what we got yet, but it's good to think that we might have. Gio and Romero probably convincing Martinez to sign. Let's hope they do. Somebody said no to that comment. What's this thing? Deli Bambi is deadly at hitting the post from 6 yards. I don't know what is.
Deli Bambi.
That's a good nickname.
That is
very
funny.
good, very good. Guys, I think just going to come around to each of you just to get your final thoughts about today's game, and then obviously the game coming forward, or looking forward to the game against City. So, Stuart, what's your final thoughts on the game today, and obviously what you're looking forward to against the City game in a week's time?
Yeah, I'm largely happy with the performance. There wasn't any real point where I was as stressed out as I was against, like we were against Chelsea in that sort of most of that first half. There definitely seems to be a real sort of solidity being built, and that relationship between the front three is looking nice as well. So hopefully we can take some of that into the Man City game. As I said, first game of the season, I'll be happy with a draw for that kind of game, just to sort of give us a bit of a confidence boost going into the rest of the campaign. And we'll go from there. I mean, there's so many things still to come into the squad. We've still got the whole Kane thing, the Ndombele thing. We've got Romero to come in, Hill to come in, whatever other signings to come in. So it's just starting off without a bad, because when we lost to Everton the first game of the season last year, that was awful. And it didn't really get much better beyond that, to be fair. It was very, very small glimpses of something decent. But I'm hopeful. And that's what we wanted. When Nuno came in, it was all quite grim. But he's quickly sort of bringing some hope and positivity back, which is what I want.
Bob Spur, the troll in the house as always. Absolutely fantastic to see so many gorgeous faces together on one show. Oh, hi, Stuart. As he would do. We expect that from Bob all day long. Jody, Spursy 141. Yeah, final thoughts on the game and what you're looking forward to for the game against City.
I think, like I said, for a preseason game with a new manager, going through a rebuild, all of the Kane dramas, like Stuart was saying, I think we had a really awesome game. I think if we can play like this with a few little improvements against City, I think I'll be very, very happy. I think come back bigger and stronger for the next game. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this season. Like every other Spurs supporter, I think I was absolutely just over Spurs at the end of that season. We've had so much drama in the past 2-3 months with Spurs. And I think at the moment, all I want to do is just start enjoying football again, watching the game. And I think after this game, I feel, I'm excited for that. So let's bring it on and just hope they don't smash us 5-0.
Like I said, these have been good preseason friendlies to kind of see. And he has used a lot of players, and we've seen a lot of the youngsters, so there is potential there, but it all means nothing if we go into this first game and it all goes pear-shaped, which I don't think it will, but I just, it's a different level. City are going to be a different level to Arsenal, even with the players that they've got out. So, Mike, what's your thoughts on today in general and looking forward to the City game on Sunday?
I think I echo what both Jody and Stuart said. I was pleased with the performance today, and a clean sheet against Arsenal. You can't knock that, even if it is pre-season. I think if we had been prepared for how quick and how fast and aggressive Chelsea came at us last week in the first half, I think we would have. I don't think the scoreline would have been as well. It wouldn't have been we wouldn't have conceded 2 goals. I really don't think that. I think they caught us off guard there, but I think we were more prepared for Arsenal today, given the way that Chelsea had started against us. I have a funny. I saw a comment here about Sanchez. about Sanchez potentially being good this season. And do you know what? It wouldn't surprise if he stays. It really wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. So if he does, it's a bonus for Spurs. But going forwards into, as I say, I think we've had a good pre-season under Nuno given circumstances. Hopefully the Harry Kane situation will sort itself out. And bearing in mind, we've had a pretty solid pre-season without a lot of our sort of top players playing, like your Kane. We've had a couple of signings that have still to come in. As I say, we can only be optimistic compared to last season. But going forward against City, I think I would like to see a 4-2-3-1. I don't want to see us in a 4-3-3. I just feel we'd be a bit too open.
I agree with you. I think we'd be exposed.
So I think we'd be a bit exposed. But saying that, it's probably the best time to play them.
100%. This comment here from Tracy says it all. You know, clean sheet with Sanchez and Dyer at the back, with big eyes. If we kept a clean sheet with them two at the back against City, that's all my Christmases at once. Definitely.
Thing is then it becomes all of a sudden it becomes difficult for Mero just to come in and walk into that side, because if they're keeping clean sheets,
we will.
It's difficult to kick him out after, like, especially if, I say, a new player coming in. He's got really and truly, he should be working his way into the team. But we'll just have to see what happens. And I see we've had this probably over pre-season with regards to Dele. I think he's been coming under unfair criticism because I think he looks fit, he looks sharp, and he's covering a lot of ground, which under Mourinho and under Mason stuff, he just wasn't there. He wasn't at the races, was he? But I feel like I'm starting to see the old Dele coming back. Like even in the latter stages, he was coming in.
We won that free kick at the end, didn't he?
He won the free kick.
That's what he used to do. And he's getting in those positions, isn't he?
That's the thing. So as long as he's getting into those positions, and he's got a create. Well, he's got a scoring chance. Then I think you stand half a chance, don't you? But I'm optimistic for the season. I honestly am. I already I can see a change in the mentality in the way we're playing. Like Reguilon, all of a sudden is starting to look confident.
Not everybody's on Dele's case, by the way. Some people are no more Dele talk, bruv. He needs to go from Zion to Tester there. I thought he played all right. I think
you better get used to seeing Dele this season.
If I was going to do a Judge Jody player ratings, I'd give Dele 6.5 today. I think he was good enough in what he did. He popped up in the right areas. Just for me, his recovery. If he's not going to recover against Arsenal, City's not going to do any better. So again, maybe a slight change in formation may help him out, give him less of that, having to track back as much. And I think if he plays in that 10, he doesn't have to do as much of that. Marlon here, welcome Marlon. Nah, Dele wasn't great. People are giving Dele a bit of grief here. There's a few things going off in the chat between Bob Spur and King David we'll keep out of. Scott here, Dele can't pass, can't read the play, can't do anything positive. There's not as many Dele fans as I thought.
That's a bit OTT there.
I think that's a little bit much. A little bit much.
Yeah,
good to see.
I'm not
we got to remember this was still a pre-season game. You're not going to go full on because you're not going to want to do yourself an injury the week before the season starts. Just calm down a little bit, guys.
A lot of people wanted to see Tomiyasu come in. I'm not sure what's happening with that at the moment.
I really hope we get that one.
Tracy Kidd, thank you, Tracy, for watching. Dele being in the right place at the right time. He's old school Dele. One goal and he could be flying. Totally agree. He could be flying, but then again, he could be flat on his face if he doesn't get that goal. But it seems that Nuno is getting something out of him because I've seen him consistently playing at this level, which I've not seen him consist. I know we're going to talk about MK, Dons and Colchesters, but he's played well against Arsenal today, which is, again, step up from those other teams. Everyone seems to be on board with Nuno's vision, which is the most promising aspect within Tottenham. Yo, lads, we're all tearing into Dele. Again, like I said, I'm not going to give him grief. I give him grief a lot of the time, but not today. Right, then. I think that's all the comments.
Do you know the thing that's... Oh, sorry, guys. All I was going to say was, I think the thing that's given me a little bit of, really sort of big positivity is I haven't missed Kane.
No.
And, you know, Kane's not been this glaring hole in the team that everyone's panicking about. Do you know what I mean? I was expecting there to be like, oh no, that's where Kane should be. That's where Kane should be. We're not doing this. We're not doing that because Kane's not there. And yeah, you know,
well, we're used to playing without him, aren't we?
We're used to it now.
Oh, you guys. Oh, you guys. I've just moved on from Kane. Harry who? No, let's not do that. Yeah. Let's not
do
that.
Not go there.
Let's wait till the
We'll see where we're at. We'll see where we're at on the 1st of September after we've done our amazing transfer deadline day show, which we'll advertise shortly.
We will definitely be doing that shortly. We've got a lot of shows to advertise. This is another show. You know what I'm going to put up, don't you, Jody? You know what I'm putting up right now. Let's advertise this. Judge Jody player rating show. Are we going to do one after the City game? Judge Jody will tell us. Are you going to do one after the City game?
It's looking that way.
Oh, it's looking good then. It's looking good in the house.
As long as we don't get beat 5-0 and then Jody will have
I always put pressure on her like this, but sorry about that. Jody, you do your shows whenever we're ready, and we know we're gearing up for that. Anyway, guys, Mike, Jody, Spursy 1 for 1, Stuart Gallop, thank you very much. It's been a great show. Thanks all for watching. Please, again, if you are still here, push that like button, hit that like button, smash that like button. If you're also new to the show and new to this channel, hit that subscribe button, get all the latest of all the shows. We've got Sid Says tomorrow, I believe, and then Tuesday Talking Points, we'll have a bit of a discussion on Mr. Harry Kane, and that should be good. Guys, enough said. That is it. Thank you very much. We're going to be out. See you very, very soon.